Welcome back to RetroSupply. Today, I'm going to show you how 2-point perspective actually works without melting your brain. Last time, you not only survived 1-point perspective, you crushed it. Now, you're ready for its moodier cousin, 2-point perspective. If 1-point was the tutorial level, 2-point is where things get intense and the soundtrack gets ominous. I get it, guys. Perspective is scary, but don't run away just yet. I promise, by the end of this video, you'll not only understand 2-point perspective, but you'll know how to draw a box that actually looks like it exists in 3D space. And once you can draw that, you can build anything. Houses, storefronts, creepy mansions, hint hint. So let's get into it before your attention span goes out for a pack of cigarettes and never comes back. This is a quick refresher, so you don't pass out halfway through the video from confusion. We've already covered these in our last perspective video in depth, so I'm just gonna kind of speed run through them. Planes are just the flat sides of an object. Front, side, top. Think of them like the object's faces. If an object has depth, it has planes. These are your anchors into reality. X means side to side. Y means up and down. And Z means front to back. If it moves in space, it lives on one of these. Ignore them, and everything you draw turns into a liminal space nightmare. This is your eye level. It's where the sky and the ground get real cozy with each other. A high horizon means you're above what you're drawing. A low horizon means the world is towering over you. Set it first or your whole scene will collapse. In 1-point perspective, everything that goes back into space heads into a single point on the horizon. That's why it's called 1-point. So no prizes to anyone who guesses how many are in 2-point perspective. Alright, that's enough word salad to give a dude a tummy ache. Let's see it in action. In 1-point perspective, you're looking straight at the object. But in 2-point perspective, you're no longer facing the object head on. You're looking at the corner. Now, no plane is flat to the viewer, and only vertical edges are parallel. This means two things. You now have 2 vanishing points, and all horizontal edges recede to the left or the right, and not straight back. 2-point perspective is probably the one you'll use most in drawing, so it's pretty important. The moment that something isn't facing you head on, you're in 2-point land. It shows depth on both sides, which is why almost every environmental or structural illustration uses it. If it has corners and it's not flat to your face, this is how you make it look real. Time to start sketching. I bet you can guess what we'll be drawing. That's right, our old friend, Mr. Box. Step 1, draw the horizon line. Straight across. Think of it as your eye level. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you're wondering why my digital canvas actually looks like authentic paper and isn't blinding your eyeballs in pure white terror, it's because I'm using a paper texture from RetroSupply's ever-handy Paperboy paper texture bundle. Seriously, I never sketch anything without one of these textures anymore, even if I'm just sketching boring boxes. Step 2, place your vanishing points. One on the far left and one on the far right of the horizon. The closer or farther away they are, the more extreme the perspective will be. Step 3, draw a vertical line. This is the front corner of your box. In 2-point, you don't start with a flat face, you start with an edge. Step 4, pull lines from the top and bottom of that corner to both vanishing points. The left edges should go to the left vanishing point, and the right edges should go to the right. Now you've got 2 planes receding into space. Step 5. Decide how deep the box is. Pick points on those receding lines and draw vertical edges to close the sides. Step 6. Add the top or bottom planes. If you're looking down at the box, draw the top. If you're looking up, show the bottom. Once you understand how to build a box in 2-point perspective, everything else is just remixing it. You can stack boxes, rotate them, or turn them into haunted real estate like I'm about to do. Every building, prop, or structure you draw in perspective starts with this one move, so get comfortable with it. You'll use it everywhere. Alright, I hear what you're saying, but what if I don't want to draw boxes? I want to create all sorts of things in 2-point perspective. I want to smell the budding flowers of the Amazon. I want to taste the sweet nectar of the Lord's fruit and let the juices drip all over me. I want to live, dang it. Whoa, calm down. You're weirding me out. Let's go over how to draw other 3D shapes in 2-point perspective before you start draping yourself in velvet or something.
Oh my God.
Here's the secret. Every complex object is just a shape wearing a box costume. Draw a standard 2-point perspective box. That's your container. Now focus on either the top or the bottom face, whichever side of the box is visible. Draw an X over that square face by connecting the corners. The point where the 2 lines cross is dead center. Repeat this on the opposite face if you need both ends. This center point is your anchor. You'll use it to build cylinders, pyramids, cones, whatever shape you want. On the top and bottom of the face, draw a circle that fits inside the square. It'll look more like an oval because of perspective, so don't panic. Now connect the sides of those circles with 2 straight vertical lines. Boom. You've got a cylinder trapped in a box like it's in a timeout. On one of the faces of the box, find your center point. From each corner of that square, draw a line up towards the center. Instant pyramid. That thing's gonna make King Tut pretty proud. Same as the pyramid, but instead of aiming at a square, draw a circle on one of the faces and aim all the lines towards the center. It's kind of like if a pyramid and a cylinder had a baby. See? It all comes back to boxes, guys. Think of them like protective shells. They hold your shape in place and make sure everything stays in perspective, instead of just melting into chaos. Once you can put any shape inside a box, you can build anything. Alright, my lazy friends, I'm gonna put you onto the secret sauce, Procreate perspective tools. This is great if you already understand the basics and don't feel like freehanding every single line like a pilgrim. Here's how you do it. First, go to Actions, and then Canvas, Drawing Guide, and then Edit Drawing Guide. Select Perspective. Tap twice to place 2 vanishing points. Now just turn on Drawing Assist for any layer you want to use with it. Now every stroke snaps to the correct vanishing point like it just stumbled through a glue factory. Seriously guys, this comes in so clutch and is a huge time saver. You should use it, because it's kind of like the artistic equivalent of having a butler. Alright, enough with the perfect boxes. It's time to sketch something a bit more real. Last time we were stuck in a dingy, claustrophobic sci-fi interior. So let's step outside to the fresh, terrifying air. We're gonna tackle a spooky haunted house exterior using our new best friend, 2-point perspective. I always start with a loose thumbnail, and I mean loose. If it looks like a 5-year-old drew it, you're doing it right. I'm just kind of hunting for the basic shape and mood. The pointed roof lines, the decrepit porch, maybe a crooked tower where Norma Bates would probably hang out. We'll even sketch the surroundings in a bit. Rolling hills and some seriously spooky trees. You're just sketching the vibes, man. And speaking of vibes, you know what always gives me good ones? Sketching with a classic pencil from RetroSupply's Classic Illustration Brushes pack. This thing is fantastic. Once I've got that messy silhouette, I'll drop the horizon line and place my 2 vanishing points using Procreate's perspective guide. That locks the whole structure down so it doesn't collapse like a Jenga tower. From there, I start to build out the main forms, the crucial front corner, the left and right walls, the roof planes, the chimneys, and any extra other sections. Remember, every single receding line has to aim towards one of your vanishing points. And here's a pro tip. You'll probably notice that I'm toggling the drawing assist on and off. That's because I like to explore concepts and add loose detail with the assist off, and then switch it back on to lock in the final accurate structure. It gives me the freedom to explore ideas, but also the discipline to keep the house in perspective. Once the main forms feel solid, I start layering some secondary elements like windows, doorways, railings. I keep it loose, but there are a couple of tricks I use to block in shapes fast without doing a bunch of full technical measurements. Like these rounded posts. I start with a basic rectangular post drawn in perspective. Then I find the center point of that post and lightly lower the opacity. On a new layer, I sketch out the curved version on top, using that center as the point where it bulges out the most. Once it feels right, I erase the original guide box. There you go. rounded posts, no complicated construction. Use all the tricks you can and keep it loose and sketchy. Remember, drawing things in perspective doesn't have to be exact all the time. A lot of it is just about setting guidelines and doing a bit of guesswork and playing around till things look right. The goal isn't perfection yet, it's structure and attitude. There's no pressure, and the cleanup, that's gonna come next. Now it's time to tighten the drawing up and finalize the sketch before diving into inks and colors. First, I'm going to clean up the main angle and separate the planes clearly by using thicker lines for close edges and thinner ones for ones that are far away. Next, I'm going to continue to refine and add small details. I'll plan in some of the areas that are going to be shadowed in pure black. And remember guys, keep vertical lines parallel and horizontal depth lines heading to their vanishing points. And here's another pro tip. Use multiple layers frequently. If you have an overlapping shape, don't just draw it on one layer then spend 3 hours meticulously erasing the bits you don't want. Throw those overlapping lines on a new layer and save yourself some hassle when it's time for cleanup. Focus on making those clean lines count. I'll clean up the background elements a bit like the rocks and the trees, and wow, look at that. I have a rock solid foundation for some seriously cursed ink and color. Now it's time for the fun part, turning this ghost house draft into a full color nightmare. We're gonna ink it with a couple of brushes from the Inferno ink pack and lay down some tasty vintage halftones with Color Lab. So while I show you my entire process in the time lapse, it's your time to shine and pay your dues. Like the video, it's free and it makes the YouTube gods a little less angry. Subscribe so you don't miss the next time I teach you a technical skill and lightly roast your artistic choices. And feed the algorithm, click all the things, tell us you love us. And most importantly, to get that authentic analog warmth on your digital drawing, haul your butt over to RetroSupply.co. Their brushes, textures, and fonts are built by artists who obsess over the charming imperfection of vintage art. They make it so easy to bring the feel of the 50s right through the 90s right into your digital art file. So you go grab the goods and I'll roll the time lapse. And there you go, you did it. You wrestled with 2 vanishing points and walked away mostly intact. Look, this isn't about making perfect, mathematically sterile boxes. It's about knowing the rules well enough to break them, without your art looking like a fever dream. Every artist is a bit of a perspective cheat. The difference is now you know what you're doing before you fudge a line. And hey, if this video helped your monkey brain understand perspective a little more, like, subscribe, and feed the algorithm so we can keep making these tutorials. And before you start that next masterpiece, get the tools that respect your time and taste. Head over to RetroSupply.co and inject some genuine soul into your digital art. Now get out there and start building something truly cursed. Happy creating.